Okay, and now on to the demo. Once you go ahead and log into Servicing Gateway, you'll be able to go over to the paid link. And once you select that, it's going to drop you off here on our dashboard. And this is really a management oversight tool for you. At the top of the page here, we have our expenses in queue. And on the left-hand side, we have our released queue. That's where Freddie Mac may have reached back out requesting for some additional documentation or just general information about an RPA or an expense. In the middle, we have our true up, which is where you can do reconciliations. And on the right-hand side of the page, we have our audit queue, where you can go in and perform any tasks necessary to complete your audit, such as uploading documentation, providing additional information, etc. So under there, we do have everything broken down as far as SLAs so that you can understand the time sensitivity to get things turned back in to ensure you do get paid timely on your submissions. At the bottom of the page here, we have two boxes. On the left-hand side, we have a breakdown of expense submissions based on the status and the individual quantity of expenses. That'll help you see month over month exactly how your submission process is going and if there are any things that need to be tightened up in the process. On the right-hand side, we have, again, a month over month breakdown of your submissions, but this is based on the dollar amount requested as well as what was actually paid out and what that percentage is so that you can track to that. You'll be able to export both of these fields, and you can use those for tracking or any of your own management reporting. So once you're on the dashboard, you can move up to our expense entry tab. This is a new feature that we have here with the paid application in our bulk upload that I'm about to get into. Some other links that you see here, we have our draft bulk uploads. And that's exactly what you think it might be. Those are anything you started to work on and were not completed prior to submission. You can go here, pick up where you left off, and go ahead and get those submitted or delete them and start over if that's what you prefer to do. Also on this page, you have the previous bulk uploads. This will give you a historical view of your submissions, letting you know exactly what file was submitted, the date, total expenses, and the status. So you can go here to track and see any history of your submissions that you have. Two other tabs that I'll get to in a little bit are Add Supporting Docs and the Expense Builder. But let's go back to our bulk upload. So the bulk upload feature within the new expense reimbursement system paid, we've reduced our fields required to be submitted down to about 35% of our current file format. We offer multiple file format types, which you've requested, and you can do that by selecting here, going to Browse and upload the template. It'll give you your file name, your format, and the size. If there's any issue with the formatting or size, you'll receive an error message. And if you happen to grab the wrong template, you can go ahead and delete that there. Up top here, you do see what we call our Metro stops. This will let you know exactly where in the submission process you are. Once you've uploaded the template, you can go ahead and select Next. And what it's doing now is actually checking for any field level validation errors. It is looking at date fields as well as anything that requires a numeric only character, and maybe there's some alphabetical characters in there. So you can go ahead and click on the pencil icon and go through here, enter exactly what needs to be input, and you can go ahead and update those fields instead of having to start back over, and so on and so forth going through the list. So once you can go ahead and ignore the errors if you so choose, but it is quicker to just update them here. Now onto supporting documents. While you always won't need them, You can go ahead and browse and drag and drop here, or click on the button to do your browse feature and select your items. Similar to our template, you can see the file name, the format and size. Up at the top here, we've called out specifically what file types that we allow, document size limits, things like that. That'll make it much easier in your submission process. So once we've added our documents, we're going to go ahead and click Next. Now here's your last chance to go ahead and review before you do your submission. It's going to give you a breakdown of each individual expense that you are requesting, as well as any documents that you just uploaded. So you can go through, check any submission, and then from there, go ahead and remove documents if maybe you added too many, or if you only had a couple that you wanted to add, you can go ahead and drag and drop here as well. So at this point, I've gone ahead and reviewed, comfortable with what I have, and I'm going to submit. Now at this point, it will go through and run all of our business validation rules, all of those limits, dollar thresholds that we have out in the guide. That's when it's going to run against the rules, and it's going to give you an output of exactly what happened with your submission. Some may be approved or ready for payment. Others may be released back if some additional information is needed. One new feature that we're really excited to share is that at this point, if you submit something that is over one of our allowables, instead of having to go back, create an RPA, then submit the RPA, wait for approval, resubmit the expense, it's going to auto-create an RPA for you. If we already have all of the information needed, it's going to send that RPA for someone at Freddie Mac to review. If we need, say, a document or some additional information, it's going to go ahead and send that right back to your release queue that we looked at on the dashboard above. So why don't we go ahead and jump back over to that release queue, and I'll show you what you're looking at. So we have our expense queues here. You can get to them from the dashboard or through the expense queue tab. Once we go into released expenses, you'll be able to see here down to the expense detail exactly what was submitted. You'll be able to identify what the issue was with that submission. And then a user can go in, click on it to open it up. This is our new loan level page. All submitted expenses will be in one central location on one page, so no more toggling back and forth between various bills, which will make it much simpler to go ahead and look at the history of a loan. So now a user comes in here, they've checked out the exception reasons, they can go back through, update any additional information that's needed, and then they can go ahead and submit that expense. And now it's been sent over for someone at Freddie Mac to review and hopefully approve. Once here, you can go ahead and see we have listed all of the expenses that are in queue, so a user can go in and provide all the information on that loan at one time. And then below that, you'll be able to see everything that's been submitted so far. And you'll be able to see the status on the right-hand side of the column here, whether it was denied, approved, paid, anything like that. Again, much easier to view all submitted expenses in one place. One of our new features that we have here is our loan management page. This is great for when you're trying to reconcile and wrap up a loan, ensure that you've received all payment on that loan. Go ahead and type in that loan number. You can see all previous expenses, and it's going to break those down by various statuses. So you can see what's been approved, if anything's under review, released, denied, etc. You can go ahead and export that if necessary, or if you're looking to filter, we've given you a filter here to kind of break that down by specific expense code. Again, a way for you to be able to go through and really validate and ensure that you've received payment for everything that you expect on that loan. Now from here, we can go ahead back to our expense entry and supporting documents. I mentioned we have our audit queue. It's typical that you have to submit documents within audit. The new feature here that we've added is that you can bulk upload documents. Grab all the documents necessary. You follow a clearly laid out naming convention that's provided here. and you'll be able to go in, grab your documents, submit, and it's going to upload them down to the expense line item within that audit. So you no longer have to go in, dive into each expense, and add documents manually one by one. That's going to conclude our demo.